I'm very particular with my words. Stop. Shoot. Stop. Shoot. Do those words sound the same?
That it got out of control.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
It got out of control.
Got out of control. I hate when things get out of control.
Far Cry 4 isn't just an open-world FPS sandbox, it's a whole goddamn playground. A beautiful, blood-stained, flame-charred playground. And with the playground comes all its toys. And by toys, I mean guns. And by guns, I sometimes mean elephants. You keeping up? Good. Alright, so in Far Cry 4 you're this hot piece of ass named Ajay Gale. Or AJ Gale if you're a goddamn patriot. Your mom, she's dead, whatever, but she asked you to return her gross dead person ashes to a place called Lakshmana. Presumably some temple in her home nation of Kyrat, which happens to be in the middle of a violent civil conflict. Thanks, Mom. You're the best, you fucking bitch. Because you're a good son, or maybe just because you're a kiss ass, which we'll get to later, you agree. But I swear to God, if this temple is an underwater temple, I will turn this game off right now. So when you arrive in Kyrat and shit hits the fan, it's really no surprise. This guy dies, this monkey dies, everybody dies. Except for you, because you're the hero, and fuck you.
Awesome.
Oh, this guy survives too. Yeah, he's one lucky guy. Here you meet the game's antagonist, Pagan Min, the ruler of Kyrat, which also happens to be the best dressed. The game does all it can to portray his character in a single cutscene. He's vain, vile, vicious, and probably at least one other word starting with V. He's perfectly hateable and perfectly likable for that reason. Not to mention, a performance from the talented Troy Baker certainly helps.
It was the fucking golden path. Those fucking terrorists, they ruin everything.
Gee whiz, you say in your frolicking little brain. I wonder what'll happen when we see him again. Well, guess what? You won't. Not for a very, very long time anyway. He's kind of like your father on your 10th birthday. He just up and disappears. Sure, he'll still call you from time to time. RJ. But it's not the same. Shortly after, you'll meet the leaders of the Golden Path, a ragtag group of ammo-wasting rebels fighting against Pagan's regime. There's Sabal, the traditionalist, and Amita, the modernist.
Says I shouldn't be doing this. I am teaching you to protect yourself.
Because this game loves its stereotypes.
Did my parents really start the Golden Path?
They did. Their goal was to free Kyrat from Pagan's regime. Now you have a chance to help us finish the work they started. Just think about it.
They tell you your parents started the Golden Path, and it is therefore clearly your job to single-handedly lead the Golden Path to victory. But I'm just here to bring my mom's ashes to... Too bad! You're saving the country now, hero! Sure, Ajay tries to bring this point up early on, but rather than argue his point, he just gives in. For Ajay, 17 Ubisoft towers, 24 outposts, 5 spiritual journeys, 4 drug trips, and countless bullet wounds along the way are really only a minor inconvenience. It goes without saying then that Ajay's character, and really his story as a whole, fall flat. In fact, the same could be said for most of the game's characters. They're cardboard cutouts, colorful and almost convincing, but with nothing substantial holding them up.
You are AJ! Welcome to my church! Away from church!
That sells guns?
Of course! For the meek shall inherit the earth, my friend. All they need are some good guns.
In the end, they're merely quest givers providing forced-feeling motivations for actions that you probably didn't care about anyway. All portrayed in cutscenes that you can't skip. But to put it bluntly, if you're going into a Far Cry game wanting story, well, you must be new here. Ubisoft promoted Far Cry 4 as a game in which you make your own story. Kinda like Brian Williams. And that's where Far Cry 4's biggest strength lies. Thankfully, Far Cry 4 provides all the pieces you need for crafting your tale. Do you prefer guns that go tatter-a-tatter-a-tatter? You did. Or perhaps chugga-chugga-chugga? Maybe you're more of a poke-poke stabby-stabby kind of guy. Maybe you've found that the best weapons in life are the ones on 4 wheels. Alternatively, maybe you've realized you're an elephant overlord destined to overthrow humanity. Either way, Far Cry 4 gives you the tools and more importantly the situations to get what you want most from the game. The several outposts scattered throughout Kyrat perhaps demonstrate this mechanic to its fullest. Do you go in like one of your coworkers, stabbing everyone in the back? Carol? Maybe you fly overhead in your gyrocopter, raining explosive joy from the sky above. Or maybe you call in help from some of your Golden Path buddies. Maybe you just
Burn everything.
Or maybe you just snipe, you fucking camper. There are also 4 fortresses, which are essentially super duper outposts. They start off incredibly well fortified, but completing campaign missions causes them to weaken. If you're like me though, you took them out while they were all still at max strength because you're either a badass or a dumbass. It really is a thin line sometimes. Killing enemies and capturing these outposts and fortresses awards Ajay with XP, which leads to skill points that may be spent in 2 different skill trees. Well, if it can even be called a tree. Unfortunately, you can't learn any of these skills until the game says you can, as they are often gated behind the requirement of completing certain tasks, in addition to requiring prerequisite skills that are often unrelated to the skill you actually want. Plus, with the exception of the ability to ride elephants, most of the skills are just kinda boring. It's worth noting, however, it's not just soldiers Ajay must kill, oh no. It's a bad day for the animals of Kyrat when Ajay is around. Rhinos, honey badgers, this thing, they all need to die. Especially those dick birds known as eagles. Man, fuck those guys. And speaking of dicks, these monkeys are called macaque. I saw a macaque. But hey, murdering endangered species isn't just fun, it's fruitful. You'll be rewarded with skins and pelts that can be used to enhance Ajay's gear, allowing him to carry more weapons and ammo, as well as some sloppy meaty organs, which can be used as bait to lure predators into the area. For bait so potent though, you'd think carrying it on your person would make you a stupid motherfucker. When you're not monkeying around on towers, blowing up outposts, or maintaining the animal population, you'll probably be engaging in one of Far Cry 4's many distractions and diversions, of which there are many.
I hear you need a quick job.
I mean, macaque must have taken a dump on my map, because there's shit everywhere. Race car driving, assassinations, hostage rescues, bomb defusals, an arena. And then there's the collectibles, loot, journals, spooky scary demon mask, more loot, propaganda posters, some fucking spinny wheels. And wait a sec. Is that more loot? At the end of the day, Far Cry 4 is a small step forward from Far Cry 3. Kyrat is big. It's beautiful. There's a lot to see and a lot to explore. In typical Ubisoft open world fashion, the game makes sure there's always something for you to do, even if it often feels trivial or repetitive. And regardless of your preferred method of destruction, Far Cry 4's combat is always a blast. But if you've come to Kyrat looking for deep characters and an engaging plot, you better get back on the bus you came in on. Gameplay is king in Far Cry 4, so for the best time, grab a gun, a ride, and maybe a friend, and start making a story of your own.